it can live sensibly within it. What is toxic, however, is the political process which started with the referendum campaign and has continued ever since. This process is far from finished, and its toxicity will be likely to increase before it's completed. Its exact course is difficult to predict, but the damage it has done, is doing, and will continue to do for some time yet, is all too easy to see. I do not believe the worth of my analysis depends on the accuracy of my predictions for the immediate future. All I argue is that the next period of our island story will not be plain sailing. If I'm wrong in that, well, let us sing Hallelujah. Chapter 1. This feels different. Does this not feel different? Since I was born in 1946, political crises have come and gone, but they came and went as episodes in a continuing story, the continuation of which we did not doubt. Some chapters were disastrous. A mad government lied to us over the invasion of Egypt in the Suez Crisis of 1956, involving us in a doomed and secret conspiracy with the French and Israeli governments. There was bitter recrimination within the political classes when the venture failed. Families argued and dissenting members of Parliament were deselected in the name of a patriotism stirred up by a disreputable nationalistic popular press. However, within 2 years, the government which had conducted the fiasco, after little more self-analysis than a change of leader, was re-elected with a much larger majority than before, and very nearly won the next election after that into the bargain. Most of the national story went on its way. We shed empire largely peaceably, modernized social attitudes, became more prosperous, chose governments sometimes of the centre-left and sometimes of the centre-right. Taxation sometimes went up and sometimes went down. Anxieties, mostly ill-founded, about our relative failure compared to other nations industrially or economically, led to changing fashions in policies. Sometimes French statism was the latest thing, sometimes Scandinavian or West German consensus-based soft corporatism. For a while, American business school efficiency ruled the roost, then came a dose of free market liberalism. Things went on. A 2 to 2.5% long-term growth rate was not much different from that of any other mature economy, once those which had been laid waste by the Second World War had rebuilt themselves at speed and settled down to maturity once again. A hard chapter was the restoration of powers to Parliament challenged by organised labour. Bitter industrial conflict in the 70s and 80s, some of it with a genuine revolutionary tinge on the part of some union leaders, did indeed induce a different kind of crisis and took courage and determination to defeat. The defeat was enabled by Social Democrats in the unions and the political parties as much as by Conservatives in Parliament. The solution of this conflict strengthened, rather than weakened, the parliamentary and broader political institutions which carried the country through. At some times, pessimism and even defeatism infected our rulers. There were strange, and in retrospect, comic, fantasies at over-lubricated dinner parties. Would Lord Mountbatten, assisted by an implausible newspaper magnate called Cecil King, take the country over to rescue us from our ungovernability and flush out the Reds from under the bed? No, he would not. There was no revolution or counter-revolution. There were deeply held divisions of opinion, leading to civil disobedience and mass protest from time to time. But, for example, large ban-the-bomb marches to Aldermaston, where Britain makes nuclear weapons, passed off peaceably, led by the aristocratic logician and philosopher Bertrand Russell, who had once proposed the preemptive atomic bombing of the Soviet Union, but had changed his position. If you recognized, as a youngster of my generation, the smell of tear gas, it was because of visits to Paris, Athens, or even, on occasion, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Not from walking down a Whitehall which still maintained a public right-of-way through Downing Street and under the Cabinet Office onto Horse Guards Parade, guarded by unarmed